Good morning, Facebook. We're here on Coach's Corner, going Facebook Live, here with special guest Isaiah Hekhuis. How are we doing this morning, Isaiah?
Doing well.
I'm Mr. Joshua with Nice Guy Coaching, and we're going to discuss the importance of staying inspired. And we're going to have a fun little relaxed Q&A session with Isaiah here, kind of get some specifics from him on who have been major inspirations to himself, how they have inspired him, what are some of his biggest takeaways. Inspiration is a big thing these days. I like to find it in everyday people. I don't know about yourself, but Isaiah is an inspiration to me. We're filming right out of Oasis Coffee Spot as we speak. Talented guy. He runs this place. He's the face of the shop with him and his family. So 3 people have been major inspirations to you.
Yeah, I'd say 3 people who've been an inspiration. As you know, I'm a Christian.
Yes.
And so the first and foremost person that is an inspiration to me is Jesus. And then the next I would say would be my father.
Okay.
And then the next would be my fiance, Laura.
Okay, great. Now, with each of them, starting, like you said, being a Christian, how has that inspired you?
In a lot of ways. For one, like I think you probably know that the basic idea of Christianity is that, God created humanity. Humanity rebelled against him. And instead of just smiting us and that being the end of the story, he sent his son to live a perfect life and then take on the smiting, so to speak, for us.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are inspiring about that. The thing that's been really hitting me recently about that and about the life of Jesus is that every relationship he ever had here on earth was one that would be one-sided. He's living a perfect life. He's among people who are sinful, and we're humans. We're not all that great. Sometimes we don't put our best foot forward.
I'm sure a lot of people could agree to that.
So every relationship he ever had was going to be him giving and not receiving in return. And I mean, to an extreme, the very person that betrayed him for a little bit of cash was Judas, who he entrusted with his finances. Like he was the guy who held the money of the group. So, but he knew that from the beginning. So to be able to enter into a relationship with someone, knowing that they're going to hurt you, and still be giving of yourself, it's just an incredible thing.
So you could really say that's a large takeaway from that.
Yeah, big time. So I mean, we're being humans. We're gonna offend people, and people are gonna offend us. It's something that we can expect.
It's inevitable.
So, yeah,
fair to say.
Yeah. So going into relationships with people, understanding that we offended God, and we're unable to make it right. And instead of that being it, he came to us first. He reached out to us, and was able to say, "Hey, I want to make this relationship right, and this is how I'm going to do it."
Okay.
So I think there's a big takeaway there for us that, sometimes we'll be offended by someone, and our natural response is to say, "Hey, they're the offender. Ball's in their court. If they want to
push
come
them
to
away.
me, if they want to come to me, that's great." But I think we can really. I've been inspired recently to use Jesus' example as saying, "Yeah, they offended me, but
let me be the bigger person,"
so to speak. Yeah. Like just because they offended me doesn't mean that I want that to be the defining factor of the relationship,
okay,
or the end of the relationship. So there's a lot of situations that we can, in humility, understanding that we offend people too. I'm not perfect in that.
As you said, it's a
Right.
way of life almost.
Yeah. So approaching it in humility, understanding that I'm an offender as well. I'm not going to let this offense be the end of it,
Okay.
and being able to move forward that way. So that's one of the things more recently that I've been thinking about as far as using Jesus as a model of living. That's just one way that we can use that his example as a way to live.
Okay. And now with your father, another person could see you having a strong relationship with.
Yeah.
A little bit, aside from what some might think would be obvious reasons, why does he inspire you? Or how has he inspired you?
Again, in a lot of ways. But yeah, there's not many people that I know who are caring, harder working, as wise as he is, and just honestly presents himself in a way that is not, what you see is what you get, and he's great. Um, so there's a lot of times that people might preach one thing but have a difficulty living it out,
Okay.
or they might you know uh, be two-sided in some way. But there's no one who that I know of who lives more honestly than my dad. So when he says something, when he speaks something, he truly believes it and he truly lives by it, and that's really inspiring. Beyond that, um, hardworking. Uh, he's got the church that he attends. The church has a bookstore that he manages. He oversees things in the background here at the Oasis, but then he's also on the board at Salvation Army, West Pasco Pregnancy Center. He's just involved in a lot of things. So he's very hardworking and sets a great example for that. And along that same line, another one of the things that really inspires me is his life work is um, seeing things, working with the Salvation Army, with the West Pasco Pregnancy Center, with folks in government. It's always that he sees things that are wrong in the world, and he continues to pursue solutions to them.
Okay.
But he doesn't he doesn't allow himself to get overly discouraged or bogged down. Like, even when it seems like there's no progress, just keeps on plugging away with it. And I mean, he's been able to accomplish some really incredible things through that mentality of continuing even in the face of adversity or seeming failure, and just continuing on with that.
Well, I did notice, my little takeaway of what you just explained about your father is, I noticed that you mentioned how much he does and how involved he is.
Mm-hmm.
And from knowing you, I know you're a very involved individual and very talented, but also you get into a lot of things. You're a man with a pretty hectic schedule, but you manage to do it all. So is that something you could say is a pretty big takeaway?
Yeah,
as far as your father being an inspiration?
Definitely. I mean, I don't reflect it perfectly, but he definitely has inspired that and put that desire in my life.
Okay.
Life barely seems satisfying if you're not giving back in some way.
Looking for that fulfillment.
Yeah, for sure.
And that really ties in big with inspiration.
Yeah, definitely.
Really living a purposeful, meaningful life.
Yeah, if you're just living it for yourself, it gets awfully boring.
Fair enough. And saving the best for last, I'm sure. Your beautiful fiance, Laura. I've had the pleasure of meeting. Very intelligent, very caring, very loving. Where do you find inspiration with her?
There's again, a lot of ways. But there are so many things that I love about her, and she deserves a man that is better than me. So
Don't be too hard on yourself.
appreciate it, but so she inspires me to at least strive to be the sort of person that I think she deserves.
Okay.
And so that's big. But then in addition, she's really good at encouraging me. She knows how to push me without being pushy. So in a way that really makes you want to do better.
Yes.
So she's really great at inspiring that, but then also being a source of comfort when things don't go quite as well as you'd hoped. So
Okay.
so she really inspires me to be better, and then is a source of comfort if I get discouraged or feel like I failed, or that sort of thing. So she's really great in that aspect. Yeah.
Awesome. What are some, and I'm sure there's multiple, what are some takeaways that you get with Laura as far as the inspiration she provides?
Yeah, as far as takeaways, you mean like for just a snippet that somebody else can apply to their life?
Well, that or even yourself, what do you personally take away from the inspiration that she gives you? Kind of like with your father, to where you emulate the way he takes on a lot of tasks, multitask well, able to work well under pressure.
Yeah, I'd say it's similar to things that we've spoken about earlier.
Okay.
But maybe tying it together concisely would be living for others, not yourself.
Okay, that's good.
So
that's one takeaway that you could sit there and, like you said, just like wrap them all together, or anyone you find inspiration from. That's one of your goals.
I'd say so. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, speaking of inspiring, like I said in the beginning, Isaiah is somebody who I find great inspiration from. Like I said, you find inspiration in everyday people. With you being an inspiration to myself, with things you find yourself doing, how do you continue to inspire others? Whether you may notice that other people gain inspiration from you or not.
Well, one of the things that I strive for and really desire with Laura, everybody knows the classic statistic that half of marriages don't end up continuing on. So I really hope that as Laura and I press into our relationship, that we can build a marriage and build a relationship that would be inspiring to others to work on their marriage, work on their relationship. So that's a little bit of a. I'm not sure if it would ever become the sort of thing, but even if it became later on in life, when we're more established, and maybe not a counseling practice, but being folks that could counsel younger couples that would be able to help others in their walk with their significant other.
Okay.
But so that's one. As far as the things that I was talking about with Jesus and his example, one thing that we experience here at the Oasis is that we regularly find people who need us, whether they realize it or whether we realize it. There's whether it's because they struggle with loneliness and need a place to have solid relationships that are meaningful, or whether it's someone who's on the streets that needs to be connected with organizations that give assistance for that sort of thing.
Okay.
Or that sort. We get a lot of that sort of thing. Recognizing again that you're going to be sowing into people who can't give back. So continuing to be available.
And you're not looking for the recognition necessarily,
Right? Yeah.
but you're going to get it from a lot of people like myself.
I appreciate it.
I come into Oasis quite often, and the little things that people should take away. Isaiah can sign, which a lot of people can't. So some of his clients that come in needing that assistance, Isaiah is able to sign with them so they feel comfortable communicating. So most places you would find the person behind the counter unable to do something like that. So it's when I see that, that's just one of many things that like offer inspiration. So like I said, I'm sure not just myself, but many other of your regular customers, even your own family, your brother looks at you in a high regard. That's, like I said, with the everyday people, I think is a really important thing. You don't have to look to the TV. You don't have to look to celebrities. You can sit there. You can go to the grocery store. You can see the single parent in the line that's on their lunch break that are buying groceries for their children to make sure they have a good life and they're taken care of. Be the hardworking guys that are out in the Florida heat that are coming into the store just trying to make a living and fighting the good fight like the rest of us.
Well, and you yourself, you are very inspiring to me as well.
I appreciate it.
Because I followed your Facebook for a long time, and seeing your progression reports as you're looking to better yourself physically and dealing with the some of the physical struggles that you've had. That's inspiring. And
which is always a continuing issue. It's I never see a finish line. I just keep telling myself to keep progressing.
Well, and if you look through my phone, there's a couple things that I've saved from time to time that either quotes you've posted or words that you've posted that are just really solid take home little things that you can just keep in the back of your head to
little tidbits.
Yeah, just something that you can
little nuggets of positivity and wisdom.
Yeah. But so I mean that in that aspect, it's also been a encouragement and inspiration. But then also what you're doing here, as far as seeking to help folks better themselves,
inspire others.
Yeah,
it's very contagious. Usually, you hear of vicious cycles. How many of us have heard the term vicious cycles? How often do you hear the term positive cycles?
Not as often.
Exactly. It's a rarity, if that's a fair statement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things. It's that positivity breeds positivity. Inspiration breeds inspiration. It's just that daily struggle with all the hate you see these days that you turn that around. You sit there and continue to better yourself so you can better others. Mm-hmm. That's what I think is a goal for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay, let's see how we're doing. Glad we had quite the audience this morning. See, these Q&As are nice. They're very relaxed. Isaiah and I each have our coffee, thanks to him. Okay. Please like, share, comment. We love keeping these sessions interactive. Make sure if you are in the Newport Richey area, come check out Isaiah and his family at Oasis Coffee Spot. Isaiah, do you have an address for them specifically?
Yeah, the Oasis is at 9213 Little Road. It's in the Winn-Dixie Plaza, right across from Bank of America.
Great. Now, are you guys also on Facebook?
We are. We are on Facebook as Oasis Coffee Spot. So facebook.com/Oasis Coffee Spot. We're also on Twitter, Instagram. We have a website, oasiscoffeespot.com.
Great.
But yeah, so you can keep in touch with us there. Usually our Facebook posts are either drinks that we're featuring or what live music we're having on the weekend. or just anything that's up and coming, new or changing.
Awesome. All right. You could always find myself, Mr. Joshua, at Nice Guy Coaching Inc. on Facebook, and I have a link to my website there. And just remember, stay inspired. Thank you again, Isaiah, for your time. I know you're a busy man, but definitely appreciate it. And I'm sure our audience appreciates it as well.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. And I look forward to watching the next one to see who else is inspiring to you.
Yes. All right.